Good morning. I would like to start this day of sharing with prayer. Father, as we wrap up February 28 days of miracle, Lord. Oh, what an incredible month this has been. I just praise you and give you glory and thanks in Jesus' name. As we wrap up 28 days of miracle for me, and I'm going to call it that this month because short 28 days, the shortest month of the year. Somehow, just God showed up, and I already shared a couple times of my ministry in Korea. But even right after I got back, I arrived like 1 a.m. on 20th. So 1 a.m. actually 21st, and was picked up by my favorite younger brother, Tarot. He's been my tuk-tuk driver. We met at Phnom Penh just by random, because we called some driver that was introduced to us, and he did not want to go to Killing Fields because it's too far. So this guy who supposedly spoke very good English, but because we were asking him to go someplace far, he said, "No, let me introduce you my friend." And then Tarot showed up. And it was almost instantaneous. I really like the guy. He's so sincere and spoke very good English, but not, enough. So I liked him so much. Actually, I hired him as when we were doing Sultan Light Bookstore as kind of a general manager, but he really didn't like the office life. He liked to be out making money. And so one thing led to another. We actually supported him. He had a surgery. It cost him 1,600 in the back. He had to remove some kind of growth. Basically, he had to sell his tuk-tuk, and that was his livelihood. And so what ended up happening is that we bought him $1,600 tuk-tuk, but he paid orphanage $100 a month. And then he got a job as a tuk-tuk driver, or now PASAP, or the rickshaw driver behind. And that cost him $15,000. I mean, but we stayed together, we helped him, and even as recent, his rickshaw was stolen in front of his house. So, boy, he went through a lot. But with all that thick and thin, he stayed faithful. So it was so nice to see him 1 a.m. at the airport, because now works at the airport. And almost next day, we're part of the Timothy Mission Center. Kim Jun-soo has been my friend since 2001. So 22 years of faithful service to Cambodia. He came to America, got his doctorate, and everybody thought he would just stay in LA because he was offered a quite nice job as a senior pastor of a immigrant church. But he said, no, God called me to Cambodia. So it's really rare to find. Everybody seems to be saying it's God's will when there's a promotion or going to bigger place or better place. Then, we tend to say, oh, it was God's will, like, oh, it was God's will that I went to Hawaii, and, so things like that. But he really stayed faithful. I'm so honor him for that. And so they did Cambodian dance and all that. And so I turned it into like 9 minutes. This was 3 hour session. It was crazy. And of course I spoke, but they did this dance. So I made it into 9 minute video. Then I had a Pastor Kang. I'm sorry, I haven't filled this up yet. This will be just hopefully someday become part of the book. It's called Miracle, 28 Days of Miracle. But Pastor Steve, yes, the young pastor that I'm mentoring in America, he came to Cambodia to support this brother, Joseph, is sent by his church. So Joseph Hua. And now he's engaged to a Khmer lady in Cambodia. And immediately Jenny left to Vietnam. And this is a little funny video clip I made at Facebook. It's only like 59 seconds, but you see that Jenny behind waving her head, and I'm crying. And it's funny how 167 people thought it was funny. And she spent the whole weekend enjoying and loving it. And then I start teaching a THM class at CPTI. Wow, this entire student body were in this chapel. This is a chapel. And they were crying out to God in prayer. I thought that was pretty neat. It was wonderful. And I got 6 people, THM. Some of them are the students that I didn't pass last year, so they came back. I promised them, all of you already passed, because I'm going to work with you and write the paper together. I guess I was too harsh. Then I was informed that Ricky Kim, he's been asking me to work with him about Right Now Media, and I don't know what it was. And he and I went to Hawaii many, many years ago now, and we Lee Chang-woo, who translate this book, and we're promoting this book, actually made a #1 or bestseller list by Naver search. So that's very good idea. And Ricky and they want to promote this book and somehow make into a Christian content. So I'm very excited because last year I was in Korea. Ricky really wanted to see, but we couldn't connect. It was just time ran out. So hopefully this year we would connect. This is a book that I'm teaching, the THM. 2 classes I'm teaching. One is research method. One is research method, and the other is Pastor Pang's book on Christian life. This is very significant book because I gotta show you. Yeah, so I wrote several books on research. It was qualitative research. And I actually wrote a book 2 years ago for CPTI students. It's on learning how to research in Cambodia. And this book, The Christian Life, the Steve Kang, the guy that I show you, is the one who translate from Korean to English. And now we translate this book into Khmer, and that's what I'm teaching. And when I was there yesterday, Mission and Money, Global Realities and Challenges, huge book. Someone gave it to me and said, oh, missionary Kim Jin-bong wanted to have this. I said, why? He said, oh, because you're in it. I go, what? And I realized 2019 during COVID, I actually was in this program through Zoom. So I soon forgot that I actually did this. And so my paper has been 484, so 484. So I talked about how Kap-Benul relationship in Cambodia, and I thought that was neat. Now it's published, and it's always exciting when your work is published in a journal and things like that. And I'm so happy that, yeah. So anyways, 28 days of miracle. I have to now go to CPTI and teach a 3-hour lecture today, and that will kind of wrap up 28 Days of Miracle. And then from tomorrow, I go into 21 days of fasting, 21 days of media fast, 14 days of food and coffee. This first time I'm actually fasting 14 days of coffee. So hopefully I'm not going to have too much of a withdrawal symptom, but it will be a very excellent way of cleansing and encountering God. And I would actually also want to write about that. It should be very helpful. So Lord bless you. See you tomorrow. Mwah.